Market premium has been an issue of controversy.
Hello viewers and hello listeners. You're most welcome to another edition of Single Spine, the Issues. We're here to look at the Grievance Review Committee of the Fairwages and Salaries Commission, which was set to handle the grievances of institutions with genuine concerns in their migration onto the single spine salary structure. We've had opportunity of discussing the mandates of the Fairwages and Salaries Commission, and we've also had the opportunity of looking at market premium, going into details, and also looking at the extent of work done by the Fairwages and Salaries Commission to get the public sector workers onto the spine. Today we are here. I remember very well last week promising you that we'll be looking at category 2 and 3 allowances and who qualifies for it. But in place of that, we will be discussing the Grievance Review Committee processes and procedures. And so I would quickly introduce my guest with me on this platform today for us to roll with our discussion. With me in the studio today is Mr. Augustine Ahame, who is the head legal Fairwages and Salaries Commission. And then we also have with us Mr. Cornelius Yosin, Director in Charge, Grievances and Negotiation of the Fairwages and Salaries Commission. We say a big thank you to all of you for making time for us. We are live on GTV and we are also live on all our regional networks countrywide. Thank you so much, gentlemen. You are most welcome.
Thank you.
Let's roll by me asking you the mandate of the Grievance Review Committee. I would want to start with you, Mr. Yosin.
Yeah, the Grievance Review Committee is a statutory committee, a committee that is set up by statute. The Fair Wages and Salaries Act, Fair Wages and Salaries Commission Act, 2007, Act 737. In section 19 of the Act, it establishes the Grievance Review Committee. The Grievance Review Committee has the mandate of reviewing grading decisions that is made by the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission. In terms of grading, regrading, job evaluation, salary classification, those jobs. I will read it fast here. Section 21 of the Fair Wages Act says that functions of the committee shall A, examine documentation and recommendations presented to the committee from the chief executive to grade or regrade positions in the public services. B, to determine matters related to grading or regrading based on the analysis of the information provided by the Secretariat. And C, determine the guidelines and procedures to be followed by the staff of the Commission in the analysis of a complaint about grading or regrading before a grievance is submitted to the committee. So basically, the mandate of the Grievance Review Committee is actually to have a second look at a job that the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission Secretariat has done. And if there's a way to review it or to redo it, then they will redo it. So that's their core mandate. I
would want to believe that a lot of grievances have been presented to you in your
Yes, we have some grievances, mostly from the health sector. We have grievance. They've already solved the grievance or determined the grievance coming from the pharmacist. Currently, they are looking at the grievance from nurses, administrators, and then biomedical scientists, in that order.
Why are grievances coming specifically from the health sector and not from any other sector?
I think we explained here before that the health sector has its own peculiarities. It's a huge sector, about 64 different job classes inside the health sector. And also before the coming to force of the single spine salary policy, they had their own structure, the health services structure, with additional duty allowance, etc., embedded in their salary. So you realize that when you migrate them, there will by all means be issues. And this is why most of the grievances are emanating from the health sector.
I see. What is the composition like? I mean, if you talk about the Grievance Review Committee, maybe I would push this one to you, Mr. Ahame.
Yes.
In charge of legal
services. Yes. The Grievance Review Committee is composed of the board, members of the board, part of the members of the board, and non-members of the board. Basically, we have 3 members of the board on the committee now. Then we have 4 non-members of the board. And
4 non-members.
And these are members who have specialized knowledge and experience in salary administration, grading and regrading, and job evaluation. So that it's not just because of the technical nature of the committee. You must have this experience in salary grading and job evaluation and job re-evaluation before you be able to be a member of the committee. Yes. So right now we have 7 members of the board of the committee, 7 members on the committee, 3 from our board, the board of the Fairwages and Salaries Commission, and 4 of who are non-members of the Fairwages board.
Am I to understand that the job functions are different? I mean, if you talk about non-members and members.
No, it's the same. The committee's functions are the same.
Yeah.
The non-members are people who have experiences in those areas I've quoted. In fact, if you look at the law, maybe I may have to quote that area for you. It says that the committee shall be chaired by a member of the board and consist of at least 2 other persons who are non-members of the board with experience in the development of salary systems and experience in grading, classification, and job evaluation. Now, if you are, these are areas very, very technical. Unless you are experienced in these areas, you cannot be part of the board, of the committee. Yes.
Let me announce to our viewers that we've been doing this for the past 5 weeks, and if you've been following us, Fairwages and Salaries Commission has put up this program to educate our viewers and educate our listeners on their mandate. We've had opportunity of looking at market premium. We have talked about the extent of work done by Fairwages and Salaries Commission to get public sector workers onto the single spine. And this is a continuation of the program. Today, we are looking at Grievance Review Committee process and procedures. And so if you have concerns to share with us, why not? You can do that. You will find all details rolling on your screen. You can join us when we activate our phone lines. You can also send us text. You can join us via Facebook, Twitter, WhatsApp, Viber, BlackBerry, Skype, and you can also send us a mail. We will activate our phone lines for you, but if you have text messages to send to us, it is 0509 079208. I repeat, 0509 079208. All details will be rolling on your screen. Let's look at the procedures, okay, to use in order to get to the Grievance Review Committee, if you really have one. Mr. Yosin.
Yes, first of all, we have to state that the Grievance Review Committee actually is there to receive complaints from persons who are dissatisfied the decision of the Fairwages and Salaries Commission.
Or dissatisfied with the process.
Yes. So the procedure is that, the first procedure is that the person who is dissatisfied must have lodged some kind of complaint with his own institution. Now, if he's not happy with the decision of his institution, then he can now make a formal complaint to the Fairwages and Salaries Commission itself.
Yeah.
You know, where the Fairwages and Salaries Commission Secretariat will try to resolve the issue. Now, if it is not resolved at this stage, then the formal complaint would lie or be put before the Grievance Review Committee.
All these processes that you have outlined, I mean, somebody watching us this today will be asking questions. Are they, I mean, is it a cumbersome process to go
It's
through?
not cumbersome at all. It's more like local remedies. You see, you have local processes to follow. Now, when you have a grievance, you don't just get up like the court system. Don't just get up and go to the Supreme Court. You try to resolve it, and then finally you go to the top. So that's what it is. Now, you have to pass through this process. You have to fill certain forms and then mention what your grievance is. The Fairwages and Salaries Commission will also study the matter and make recommendations of its own or its own analysis of the problem to the Grievance Review Committee. And then the committee will sit and then look at it, you know, and then bring out what we call a determination or a decision on the matter. Inside all this, we have certain timelines that must be followed. You know, when you receive a grievance, within 5 days, reply to the grievance. Within 14 days, invite the person for a hearing that is you meet the person and you hear him, like you listen to his side of the story. Within another 14 days, make a decision.
Yeah.
So we have timelines inside. We have three broad groups of people that we look at. The first is just everybody in the public service or the public sector. Those, they go through the normal procedure. However, we also have a group called essential services. Owing to the nature of their job, and because their job involves human life, and because the Labour Act disenjoins them from embarking on a strike action, there's a certain speeded up or expedited procedure for handling their grievance. So instead of 5 days for the normal public service worker, there you have 3 days. Instead of 14 days to reply to them, there you have 5 days. So it's shortened so that the grievance will be resolved.
I will make a quick follow-up. You just said that with regards to the essential services, their job involves human lives. I'm sure somebody watching you or listening to you will ask, which job at all does not involve human life?
Yeah, in fact, when the definition of essential services is not to say the job is important or unimportant. We didn't bring the LI, do you have the LI here? The LI actually mentions which jobs are supposed to be essential services. You have the health sector as number 1. You have the aviation services. You have the meteorological services. Zoom Lion, all those people involved in sanitation and all that. Yeah. Imagine Zoom Lion on strike for 1 week. What will happen to us?
Or the police, or the military. These are all...
No, those are another level. I was coming to come to that. Okay. You have the essential services, and then we have the security and intelligence services. The security and intelligence services also, the Labour Act does not allow them to embark on a strike action, because of which they also, we have a certain expedited procedure for resolving their grievance, just as the essential services.
Okay. Well, in all these institutions that you have mentioned, and with regards to processes and procedures, there are legal ramifications if they would have to embark on strike. And that's the reason why we've had cases ending up with the National Labour Commission issuing statements that you will have to go back to work, you should not hang your gloves and all that. And so I guess these are issues that will come directly to your office, Mr.
But before, let me mention for the public's knowledge.
You do that for us.
Essential services, paragraph 20 of the LI 1833. The following services are considered to be essential services under the Labour Act, Act 651. Water supply services, electricity generation, transmission and distribution services, health and hospital services, sanitary services, air traffic control, meteorological services, fire services, air transport services, supply and distribution of fuel, petrol, and lights, telecommunications services, public transport services. Now, the Labour Act itself it mentions why they are called essential services, because if any stoppage of work in that line would tend to affect us directly. For example, if there's, meteorological services should go on strike and there's a tsunami coming, we would not get to know. Yeah. So those are the reasons why they are essential services. Not because they are more important, but because of the nature of the job that we do that has a certain impinges on our lives directly.
Okay. Now, so let me come to you, Mr. Ahame. The legal ramifications I spoke about earlier on. I mean, if any of these institutions should decide to embark on a strike action.
Yeah. Now, the National Labour Commission, as composed, it's the commission is the institution responsible for all labour matters. With the Labour Commission, you can send any matter, even emanating from the Fairwages Commission, to them. But without, if it's a matter regarding grading and regrading and job evaluation or placement on the single spine salary structure, then it's the Grievance Review Committee which should handle that matter. But where it's a matter regarding negotiation, where there's a failure of negotiation on the part of the parties at the Fairwages and Salaries Commission, then this matter will go straight to the National Labour Commission. And from there, you can proceed to the court. Yes. So if a party is dissatisfied with any decision of the Fairwages and Salaries Commission, decides to embark on strike without passing through these processes, that is, if it's a matter that should go straight to the Labour Commission, then that party is violating the law. The law and the procedures involved in getting this matter resolved at these levels.
So the point is that we've had institutions that have flagrantly violated the laws, as you said. What punitive measures have been given out to such institutions?
Yes, they should have been sanctioned by the National Bar Commission by way of sending them to court to compel them to resume work while the negotiation processes are pursued. But it's because they just embark on strike action just to enforce whatever is due them or whatever is not due them. Even whatever is due, it must be negotiated and pass through the normal processes of negotiation before you embark on a strike action.
Mr. Yosin earlier on spoke. I wanted to find out why the health sector has been, one very area where we often hear of them in the news and all that. And he spoke earlier on about the peculiarity in terms of their structures and all that. So it means that enough education did not go in that direction to, as it were, place them in a proper position to accept the fact that they will have to go through some processes before all issues are addressed.
You'll be surprised to know that labor unions and associations, they know the rules. They know. But it's in a system where if you go on strike, there's no sanction. No, you and I know. People would imagine a nurse in 10, a nurse on attachment, or what do you call it? A nurse who finished school, who is on internship, going on strike. I mean, imagine it. You see, so we have a system where there's a certain impunity attached to strike actions. That's why it's happening the way it's happening. And I think we all, as a civil society and all of us, will have to come to that term where we make strike actions not too fanciful. Because the media also, when people are going on strike, it becomes good news for the media, and it's all over the place. You see, so it's becoming fashionable for persons to go on strike. But most of these strikes, as we have said, are illegal. They are illegal by the nature of the person going on the strike. If it's a social service or security services. We had the fire service tried to go on strike before. And by the nature of the rules that they do not follow, you have to give some certain number of days if you can go on strike, such as other public servants. They won't give the number of days, and they're out there on strike.
The common thing we have heard is that is the language you understand, you as an institution, Fairwages and Salaries Commission, and all other stakeholders mandated to carry out, such processes. That is the only language you understand. So until they embark on, such, strike actions, you will not sit up.
Well, it's not the case per se. Institutions that have embarked on strike action, with that resort to the procedures and the processes, we have not given in to them. I can cite the example of the Ghana Medical Association. When they embarked on strike action, they were called to go back to work while negotiations continue on their grievances. But they refused. But at the end of it all, government or Fairwages Salaries Commission never budged. We never gave in until they came back to the negotiating table, and then we have to go to National Bar Commission for compulsory arbitration to be conducted. So these days, it's not the case that when you go on strike, then Fairwages and Salaries Commission will just say, okay, fine, this is what you want, we'll give it to you. That is not the case again at all.
In fact, we have to see it as part of the transition. You see, we are transitioning from an old system to a new system, and people are trying to test it. And so therefore, Fairwages so far has been resolute on the pharmacy strike. I'm sure you are aware of it. The administrative strike at the universities. If you don't come on back to the table, we're not going to mind you. And that's also a way that we use to strengthen the institution and also the procedures.
Okay. So, the point here again is those with problems or those who are not satisfied with the process will have to go through round and then find their way back to you again. What steps would they have to go through? Is it the same right from the beginning as?
Yes, where there's a grievance involving grading and regrading, it comes to the secretariat. So grading, regrading are considered specialized grievances. They are specialized grievances. It comes to the secretariat. The secretariat tries to resolve it. If it doesn't resolve it, then it goes, then the person, the aggrieved party now files a petition or a complaint with the secretariat, with the Grievance Review Committee. The Grievance Review Committee examines this grievance and petition, and it makes a determination.
Yeah.
Now, if you are not satisfied with the determination, then there's a further room for appeal, and that one goes to the board of the commission, the entire board of the Fairwages and Salaries Commission. And where there's a dissatisfaction again, you have the right of appeal to the National Labour Commission. And that only deals with mainly the grading and regrading and job evaluation and the placement.
I think it will be, our viewers will appreciate this, or listeners will appreciate this, if we give classical examples of institutions that have gone through these processes. So you just reconsider that, and let's see what we can do. Maybe we will take a break. When we come back, you will go take us through some classical examples in terms of grading and then regrading, the processes and procedures that will, you know, take them to their final, you know, destination, if I could put it this way. Let's go for a quick break. We'll come back. I will announce the phone line. We will take a few more calls. We will be back. You are still with us on Single Spine, The Issues, live on GTV and all our regional networks countrywide.
Because of unpaid allowances. Others have also threatened strikes because the issue of categories 2 and 3 allowances have not been well addressed. What are categories 2 and 3 allowances? When are public servants receiving these allowances? For straight answers to these questions and more, tune in, text in, click in, and call in to Single Spine, The Issues, this Saturday on GTV and Radio Ghana networks nationwide.
Okay, we are back. Thank you so much, viewers, and good to know that listeners, you're still with us. This is Fairwages Salaries Commission. It's a program we're doing for them live on GTV and all our regional networks. Let me have your attention for this quick announcement. Plastic separation. Participate in the Fairwages and Partners Plastic Drive. Find out how you can use plastic waste gathered from the homes of your staff to raise funds for educational institutions for the physically challenged whilst healing the environment. So there are prizes, there are awards, high-level recognition will be given or will be accorded to deserving corporate public institutions and schools. The Fairwages and Partners Plastic Drive is a Fair Wages and Salaries Commission corporate social responsibility scheme in partnership with Corporate Ghana, schools, and other public institutions. For further information, if you really want to take part in this event, you can visit www.fairwages.gov.gh, or you can call 020-8084426, and then you can participate. The number again to call, 020-8084426, and then automatically you join the game. You can participate. Let me announce the phone line. We can pick a few more calls. 050-907-9208. 050-907-9208. If you have concerns to share with us, why not? Feel free. You can call us. We are live on GTV and live on all our regional networks. This is Single Spine, The Issues, and my guest in the studio, Mr. Augustus Ahame, is in charge of legal services at Fair Wages and Salaries Commission. We also have Mr. Cornelius Yosin in charge grievances and negotiations with Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, and they are here with us in the studio. Your calls can come through now. 0509-079208, 0509-079208. You can send us a text, why not? You can also join us via Twitter and then WhatsApp. Same line, 0509-079208. Okay. Let me find out from you the independence, regarding the Grievances Committee, Review Committee, and then the various institutions that deal with you.
Yeah, first and foremost, as we said, the Grievance Review Committee is a creature of the Fair Wages Act. It's a statutory body, and therefore it is independent. Okay. Now, the membership of the committee also...
What makes it independent?
It is independent, one, by its creation.
Okay.
Two, by its membership, its composition.
Okay.
There's no member of Fair Wages and Salaries Commission on that body. Everybody there, you see, is an outsider who expertise.
That was why you spoke earlier on about the non-members.
Yes, exactly. And even the board members, they themselves are not part of Fairwages and Salaries. Now, when you look at Section 23 of the Fairwages and Salaries Act, it talks about allowances of members of the committee. It says that a member of the committee shall have the remuneration that the minister determines in consultation with the minister responsible for finance. So you realize that they are not remunerated from the Fairwages and Salaries Commission. Just like the board or other commissions that are set up, they are remunerated based on the recommendations by the Minister for Finance. So that also shows you that they are independent body. And indeed, they are there to look at decisions that the Fairwages and Salaries Commission makes. And so therefore, if we make a decision and they are not, they look at it, and they think that the decision is not right, they have the right to change it, to review it. That's why it's called the Grievance Review Committee. And so therefore, it is a very, very, very independent body that takes a second look at the decisions that we make. And so therefore, it is good in the sense that it means that we are not the ultimate decision makers of grading and regrading issues.
Okay. I mentioned that we'll be looking at classical examples and then regarding grading and regrading and then the time frame it takes you to address some of these grievances. If you have specific examples, I will be grateful if we can touch on them.
Yes.
Mr. Hame.
Yes. We have the pharmacists who come under the umbrella of Ghana Government and Hospital Pharmacists Association. They petition against their grading. And the Grievance Review Committee looked at this matter and made a determination that the grading given to them by the Fairwages and Salaries Commission Secretariat was fair.
Yeah.
And that they were not satisfied with that decision of the Grievance Review Committee. So they had to appeal to our board, and then from our board to the National Labour Commission. So the matter now is with they have been asked to appeal to our board, because if they don't do that, then the procedure that we have will not be complete from the board before it can get to the National Bar Commission. So as of now, we have this classical example of the pharmacist. Then we also have the other groups in the health sector, the allied groups, the biomedical sciences, then the supply chain officers, nurses. For the nurses, there was a determination that an interim determination that they should undertake a job re-evaluation, and they have agreed to do that, and they have done it. The others have refused not to do the job re-evaluation, but insisting that we should do whatever they want. But the Grievance Review Committee is saying that until job re-evaluation is done, they cannot determine the relative worth.
I have just been informed that we have someone on the line. Let's pick a call. Hello.
Good evening.
Yes. Hello. You're most welcome. Tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
My name is Abdel Fattah.
Calling from
Shegu in the northern region.
Okay. Let's hear you, my brother Fattah.
Yeah. I heard you talk about premium.
Fattah, speak up. We can hardly hear you.
Yeah. I said you talk about
Fattah, if you can reposition yourself, I will be grateful because we can hardly hear you.
Okay. That I heard about market premium issue. And I know the category of people qualified to market premium and who does not.
Okay. We discussed this. If you listen carefully or you have followed us, you realize that we have had in our studio some resource persons to discuss this. That's not what we're discussing today, but all the same, if you heard that, I will throw this.
What was the question?
We're talking about categories of people who qualify for market premium. That's what Fattah wanted to.
Currently, as we speak, we are not implementing
exactly
market premium.
Yes.
We are still developing the guidelines. They are almost done, and the white paper would have to be issued
by government
and gazetted. What we are doing currently is that all those employees who had some element of premium in their salary before now, those are the ones that we are trying to put them on the spine together with that thing that we are calling an interim market premium. A typical example is the health sector. They had the additional duty hour allowance, ADHA. Now, if you migrate him straight on without taking care of the ADHA, you will be made far worse off. And so, therefore, we brought on board the ADHA, which we are no more calling ADHA, but we are calling an interim premium. The same with the universities, the lecturers, senior members, academic. They had something that was called the dollar policy, where at any point in time, their salary should not be below $1,500. So when you put them straight on the spine, they'll become worse off. So the difference between the spine and what they are receiving by way of 1,500, equivalent of 1,500, you calculate it and you make it into a premium. So they just break even. You're not giving them anything more than they are receiving. It is just an interim measure.
So the Fatal, I want to believe that you are clear on this point until every public worker sector, until every public sector worker is migrated onto the spine, market premium issues will just
and in fact when the
before the government comes
and when the guidelines itself comes, it's not everybody who will be on the market premium.
Exactly.
It is the level of your skill and the level of the scarcity of that skill, a skill that we cannot get on the market, a skill that we hire before we can get.
And we explained this last week.
Yes, you want to put a certain premium on it so that you can get the person to work and not go outside to Nigeria or some other place. That's the whole idea.
Let me go through this text message from Salifu. Salifu says, I think the single spine salary structure was to improve the conditions of public workers. That will go a long way to minimize corruption. But corruption in the public sector today is untalkable. Why? How would you address this briefly? I know, maybe I'll throw this one to you.
Well, we have not experienced any instances of corruption, as you say. And corruption must be proved. And if you just make an allegation of corruption, without giving any proof of it, we cannot say that. And the salaries that we are implementing now, in fact, it's a process. The salary policy is a process. It's not a one-time event. Very soon, we'll be moving towards the negotiation of categories 2 and 3 allowances, which will also improve the take-home pay of the employer, of the employee. So therefore, they should rest assured that the salary is not the only matter under this policy. There are other areas that will be covered to improve general remuneration.
Okay. We have extended our platform so we can have interactions from all over. You can join us via Facebook, Twitter. You can also send us messages via WhatsApp, Viber, BlackBerry, Messenger. I'm picking a few and then I'll just run through them. Chris Tawia says that, joins us via Facebook, says that, who are the members of the Grievance Review Committee? Who are the members? I'm sure Chris wants to know. The members of the Grievance Review Committee.
There are people in the of professional. They are having professional
because
in their various fields.
You spoke about the independence of that committee, and I'm sure he really wants to know who the members are.
We want to assure the person that those members don't work in the Fairwages and Salaries Committee. However, we have not sought their permission to mention their names. Indeed, it would not be very much desirable to mention the names of the members of the... You know, somebody just talked about corruption. Before you notice, you are in your home, and somebody comes home with a goat or a cow or something, just so that they can influence a decision you are making. They want to be insulated from the public eye, except where you meet them at the Grievance Review Committee.
Okay. Well, Jasmine sends us a tweet, and she says that, I like the program. It's very educative. Congratulations to you.
Thank you.
That says Jasmine. And then let me go over to Amma from Koforidua. He says, the Fair Wages Commission is doing a great job, but I think there should be more public education so we can all understand complex issues like the Grievance Committee and its procedures. That's exactly what we're doing. So if you're following us, you will know that this educative program started some 5 weeks ago, and we will continue with this one. We have a phone call. Hello.
Yeah, good evening.
Hello, my brother.
Good evening.
Good evening. Your name and where you're calling us from?
This is Samson. I'm coming from Amasaman.
Okay, Samson from Ashaman.
Yeah.
Samson, let's hear you.
Contribute to the program.
Amasaman, okay.
Yes, Masterman. The issues the company, the pharmacy, and the administrators, what if there wasn't decision? Was that management has whatever to go this commission. They were telling us another story that we should go back and negotiation again. And they are telling us for re-evaluation. Now, when we come to re-evaluation, you should be different. But the man was saying it's not. No, as far as is concerned, issues are no scientific. Because when you are doing, we are equity into being the external, but forgotten. So that's the problem.
Something, it was a bit difficult getting your points, but I don't know if you can reposition yourself so we can hear you clearer, because it was a bit difficult getting what. Are you still online? I think something is off the line. Could you attempt to? Because it was really difficult for me to get what something was saying. He kept.
Yeah, I think he wants to say that the interim determination by the Grievance Review Committee on their grievance, it has not been accepted by them. And we are saying that if you don't accept to go back to re-evaluation, to do a job re-evaluation, there's no way the committee can determine the relative value or worth of your job to be able to replace you or regrade you. Yes. So if the group that is talking about, the supply chain or the accountant, the health accountant that is talking about, if they are mandated to do the job re-evaluation, the Grievance Review Committee, as an independent body, will be able to look at their relative worth and be able to determine their worth and place them appropriately. Yes.
Well, I've received a message via WhatsApp, and Victor says that I do not understand why you are saying the Grievance Review Committee is independent, but at the end of the day, you still sit down to negotiate and channel your grievances. So what makes it independent?
That's a very important question. You see, the Fairwages and Salaries Commission negotiates the base pay.
Yeah.
It negotiates relativity, pay point relativity. It negotiates allowances. You see, it does not negotiate placement. Placement is a management function. It does not negotiate market premium. Market premium is an incentive that the employer says that, you know something, this particular skill is in short supply. All those we have met so far, we have let them understand that we are not negotiating with them. It is only proper, fair and proper that whoever is going to affect, you involve him in the decision making. That's where the difference. It is not negotiation. It is not negotiation. That is why we have the Grievance Review Committee that has to come back and real look the decision if somebody is dissatisfied with it. If it were a negotiation, it would be a different matter. It would have gone straight to the National Labour Commission. You see, so it's not a negotiation at all, and we don't want people to have the impression that job evaluation and job grading. Because if you go to a typical private sector, you go, the job is there, the grade is there, you know, the job title is there. It's given, you take it or you leave it. But in the public service, because of the nature of the job, and because this is a novel situation, the new thing that we are implementing, we are involving about the management, the institutions, the stakeholders, and then somehow we arrive at certain. So some people have gotten it all wrong when they think it's a negotiation, and they go on strike on that one. Seriously improper.
Okay. Now, for those who have just joined us, or those who have tuned in to listen to us on radio, I'm sure they will be asking themselves the steps again. We have highlighted, we've touched on that, but I'll be grateful if you can go through again. And I also like the point that you touched on, the fact that you don't do negotiations. Grievance Review Committee do not engage itself in negotiations. Okay, the processes and procedures again. If you can briefly go through that for us.
Yeah, we said that after the Fairwages and Salaries Commission has made a decision on a grading, regrading, a salary placement, etc. If a party is dissatisfied with that decision of the Fairwages and Salaries Commission, they will have to raise or file a grievance or a complaint with their institution, the management of their institution, as a first step. Yeah. Now, when the management is unable to resolve that problem, then you bring it to the Fairwages and Salaries Commission Secretariat, so that at our level, we will try to see if we can resolve the issue.